This week's edition of ChurchMediaDesign.tv is sponsored by CollideMagazine.com, where the church and media converge, and DansInkandToner.com, ink and toner, and a whole lot more. And also, Mondo!
Oh, what is Mondo? Is it getting around? Mondo! Is it all chilled out? Oh, yeah! Does it come in packs? Mondo! Is it mental? Fundamental! Mondo, Mondo! Is it big on taste? Mondo! Is it in your face? Mondo! It's what's going down! New Mondo Fruit Squeezer! It's your world! Mondo, Mondo! Mondo, Mondo!
Welcome to another edition of Church Media Design TV, tips, tricks, and how-to for you, the church media designer. Well, I'm your host, Brad Zimmerman, and join with me, well, we got some reindeer, we got Dancer, Prancer, and the little whitey vixen, and of course, the real Santa Claus. It's Jesus Christ, the Son of the Lord Most High. Well, on this week's edition of CMD TV, we are going to be finishing up our ProPresenter review and walkthrough, as well as we're going to talk about the future of internet campuses and give you guys some great free stuff. So if the reindeer are ready to pull Santa's sleigh, let's get into it. Well, we're going to continue our review / walkthrough of ProPresenter, and we're going to cover some more of the advanced features and preferences and some of the reasons why you may or may not want to switch to ProPresenter. A lot of the stuff we've already covered are pretty similar across the board in all worship presentation software, but these are things that a lot of people are like, ooh, I like that, maybe I want to switch, is this really that good, all of that kind of stuff. So let's get started with the first thing, which would be live video. There's a live button up here, and that automatically pulls up the camera that is attached to your computer. Now on most Macs, which this computer and any computer running ProPresenter is a Mac, has a built-in webcam, and it's immediately going to pull up that webcam if nothing else is on the screen. Now as you can see, the video playback is pretty good. There's a little bit of shakiness. You can see our awesome, oops, which way do I point? There we go. Our awesome, I'm not used to doing this backwards stuff, lights there in the corner that are making things look crazy. But as you can see, the video looks pretty nice, but there's a little bit of lag. Now, one of the big problems with this feature is you might want to disable it, which they have given you the option to do because it's right next to your logo button. And in the heat of the moment, somebody might hit the live button instead of the logo button to put up on the screen. Now, the problem with that is, well, since every computer has a webcam built in, you need to start thinking about Jane and Joe Volunteer, who's running your media on Sunday morning, and now their faces are plastered up on the screen, and it's not your logo. And they get embarrassed, they get fidgety, don't know what to do, and it's a big distraction. And again, we want to provide distraction-free worship environments and not distraction-filled ones. So, that's one thing that's a little, I'd be very careful about. Also, because of the lag issues and because you really can't switch between cameras and all of that kind of stuff, this is not a solution to iMeg. This is not a solution to multi-camera shooting of your pastor up on your screen and that kind of stuff. This is a solution to a once-in-a-while live camera feed or a static camera of a certain part of your church or something like that. This is not what you should be using for multi-camera styled iMeg shooting. Now, if you guys disagree, totally fine, but in the long run, you're going to see that this isn't meeting the needs like you want it to. But it does do a really good job for the amount of money that you're spending on this software. So it's a really great feature to have in there. I've used it a couple times just for fun, and it's come in handy every now and again. One thing I actually want to dive into is how to do a wireless USB camera in our kids ministry so that we can champion what's going on in our kids ministry on Sunday morning. So we can say, hey, look and see what's going on in Surf City, and we can watch them worshiping while we worship, or we can talk about how they're learning something and teaching and actually show the kids in their environment hanging out doing what they do. So that's just an idea for you of how you could use that. The next thing we're going to talk about is DVD playback, and I know this is a wanted feature for a lot of you, and I'm going to talk to you about why you shouldn't want this feature and how it works inside ProPresenter. Now, the reason you shouldn't want this feature is because DVD playback is unreliable. DVD playback relies on a disk spinning around inside the computer, and you have to rely that it's going to find the right spot on the disk and it's going to cue it right when you want it to, and a lot of times that doesn't happen very well. And what actually happened before we started taping, we already did this take before, and our DVD player crashed iShowU, or our computer including iShowU, which does our screen capture. So we're going to try it again. Hopefully this take will work. We're actually going to take a quick break, pause, and restart just so we don't lose this beginning part, and then we'll continue showing the DVD playback. So we'll check out the DVD player now. So as you can see down here at the bottom with backgrounds and audio clips, we also have DVD clips. And if we click on the Disc Plus icon, it'll pull up our DVD player. And as you can see, it's going to go through the menus. And again, you're going to want to do this before you're gathering. And this isn't going to be a, hey, last minute, I want to show this clip out of this movie. Now, the other thing I want to say is I am going to trust that you guys are following copyright standards and that you're allowed to play this movie inside your church, because you're not allowed to edit movie clips. You're not allowed to put audio synced up to video clips. There's a lot of rules and a lot of different things. Check out Pop Goes the Church book. There's a chapter in there about it, as well as read up your CVLI license and make sure you know what's going on there. But what we have here is Mighty to Save from Hillsong Church. Great DVD. We're going to go to song selection and we're going to find a song in here that we want to show. Maybe we want to show this video, and they do. If you guys have not checked out Hillsong's DVDs and videos, they're amazing. So let's pull up For Who You Are, and we'll click that, and then down here at the bottom I'm going to jump and I'm going to hit set right away. And this is going to set the end point for our video. And now I can fast forward a little bit in this video until I find the point that I want to end. Let's say that we maybe want to just show part of it here, and we'll call that pretty good. And we'll just set this as the out point. And then we're going to hit save. And we're just going to save this as For Who You Are. And this is from Mighty to Save Disc 1. And we'll hit save. So now that clip is saved down here in the library, and I'm going to close this, and I'm actually going to stop this as well. So now when we fire this cue, it's automatically going to pull up the DVD player and start playing it. Now the reason that it's pulling it up on this monitor is because we don't have an external monitor pulled up. Now if we would have an external monitor pulled up, as soon as we fire that clip, it'll show that on the screen. I actually used this feature last Sunday. We had an outside speaker come in, and there was no way around turning this video clip into a video file, so I had to use the DVD playback, and it worked fine. It's not something I would want to rely on. I would much rather go get Handbrake, pull out the video clip, and make sure it's a file that I know is going to fire perfectly every time. I can make sure the sizing's correct. I can make sure all these different little things that can go wrong are going to work okay for me. So if you would want to use this in a message, we're going to pull up an old teaching script that I have in here, and I'm just going to pull this right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to command or control click on this clip and drag it up, and it's going to set it as the background for this it's actually going to insert a whole new one here. So as soon as I click on that, it'll start playing. It gives you a nice little thumbnail of the beginning of that clip, so it works really nice. DVD playback is great. So if you need to, if you have to, you can use the DVD playback. If you have a way around it, if you can get your hands on the DVD ahead of time, I would encourage you to do that. Because like I said before, our program actually crashed. We had everything quit on us. Adam was talking about how he was using it this summer, and every time he tried to pull it up to show somebody it wouldn't work. And there's just a lot of things that can go wrong. And this isn't a problem just for ProPresenter. This is a problem across the board in all programs that have tried to implement DVD playback. I know a media MediaShout had a lot of problems when they originally started, and they've worked out a lot of those kinks, but especially in MediaShout, where they're having to deal with multiple DVD players, they have to deal with multiple software, all of these different engines to make everything flow right. And so that's why MediaShout's had a little bit harder time than the Mac, because, well, the Mac has 3 or 4 different DVD drives that have been in these computers over the last 6 years. They have a couple different hard drives, a couple different types of RAM, all of these things that play into how it works. So just keep that in mind and go grab Handbrake. I know it's like handbrake.ch or .com, or I can't remember what it is. But anyway, check out Handbrake. It's a way to rip DVDs out into MPEG-4 files. So check that out. It's a really great program. So now let's move on to some of the other great features inside here. We're going to talk about preferences real quick. We're going to go to ProPresenter and we're going to go down to preferences. And if we would go over to DVD right now, we can disable DVD playback feature. The other feature I have on right now is prevent DVD from spinning down, which basically makes sure that the DVD doesn't stop spinning so that when you want to fire a cue, it's ready to go. And that's what makes their DVD playback a little bit smoother than some of the other softwares, because they don't allow the DVD to slow down ever. It's continually ready to play. So that's one cool thing. Also in here, live video, you can select which device you want to use, the built-in eyesight or something else. You can also preserve aspect ratio or disable disable the video feature. So that's pretty cool. Also in here, we have our general settings, and this is, the search paths to where they're going to find different things. Now, one thing that I've been a little frustrated with ProPresenter is a lot of their preferences are global preferences. I'm used to MediaShout, where I can go in and set one song to have this drop shadow because of the background that I'm using, and another song I want an outline because of the background it's using. Well, in ProPresenter, everything is global. So you have a global shadow, you have a global outline, and I don't really want global settings. I would like to be able to change it per song. I understand that a lot of times you don't need to change it, but it takes back some of what I want to be able to control. So that's kind of annoying. Also, CCLI display first side, first and last slide only. They also don't have one feature somebody was looking for, is how to add it to every slide. They wanted to have their CCLI. We have, apparently there's a semi about to attack our building outside. Oh,
Tractor.
no, we just have somebody picking up snow in a giant...
They almost hit the building.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on out there, but anyway, I'm going to keep going. A little bit distracted from the bulldozer that's outside, but anyway, CCLI, one person was asking, how do I add my CCLI license to every slide? Well, you can't. You'd have to type it individually, or what you could do is add your CCLI number as an announcement at the bottom of the screen. But then you have to copy and paste what your CCLI number is the same for always. So actually that is a good workaround for you. So if you need to add your CCLI to every screen, do it as an announcement, because that's a separate layer. It can be on there the whole time. You start playing your songs, you just hit show on your announcement of that number and you'll be good to go. So that's some things. You can do window shade, maximum columns. Then we go over to display. You can set your display size, your screen position, and your screen color. Also your screen margins. And again, this is where I get frustrated about global settings. Inside MediaShout, you can set individual margins per page. Whereas in ProPresenter, it's a global margin, so I can't kick my margins over to shove text around images in my video. I have to deal with what's there. This is really distracting with the tractor outside. I'm really sorry, but we're going to continue. Hopefully I don't get too distracted. And also, one thing it's not, for some reason this isn't enabled initially, but make sure you enable to preserve aspect ratio on new foreground video. Also preserve backgrounds aspect ratio. For some reason it defaults to try stretch all of your imagery unproportionately to fill your screen, which is kind of nice, but you should be making your video and your images to fit your screen correctly. So I don't want them to skew images, especially when I have somebody like last week we talked about, our Bosnia team coming in and they're showing images and they got some vertical picture that doesn't fill the whole screen. I don't want that stretched to the width. I want that the way it is. So make sure you guys click those in there. Also, you can do playback, video playback and performance hints to make things play back and look nicer. By default, it might skip some frames to make sure it continues to play the entire loop instead of slowing down. You can do deinterlace, play every frame, and high quality there. Also, you can set labels and script labels for different categories and that kind of thing. So those are some overall preferences. Now, a couple last really cool features that I have messed with a little bit, but not tons. One is Quartz Files. Now, a Quartz file is a QuickTime scripting movie. So basically, it's using mathematics and scripting to do visualizations. It's kind of like how they do visualizations inside iTunes that are synced up to the music. But these are individual files that you can make using Quartz Composer. So you can check out quartzcompositions.com and find out a bunch of different things. One thing I would check out first is the animation category. And I've actually gone through here and looked at a couple different Quartz animations, and I've saved them out. And then I went into backgrounds and I just did add to my backgrounds. And so you'll see in here, we have a couple different things down here at the bottom. The first one here is this little crazy box bursty thing. And what you're seeing is mathematic animation. This animation is going on mathematically and it's all figured out in real time. And believe it or not, the file you're looking at right now is, I think, 17 kilobits. 17 kilobits, like less than a quarter of a megabyte or fifth of a megabyte. I don't know my math very well, but it's tiny. It's as big as an email. So it's really amazing that you can get that kind of thing. This is just over a meg here, and this is some snow falling. Now, some of these are loops. That last one I showed you was a loop. This one is not, but it's pretty amazing what you can get done that is not a actual video file and what you can do. And you can actually still go in here. We'll pull up Let Your Light Shine, and we'll throw some text on top of it. And you can see that we got some great, we can still do all of our fading of our text, and we have this great video background going on that's, well, not really video. So I would check out Quartz Compositions. The other cool thing is they actually can access your microphone. So you can do things that are dependent on the microphone. So every time you snap or clack, or you could hook in audio, the main out of your soundboard into your computer, and it could trigger on bass frequencies of what's going on, or high end, and all of the different things in there. So these Quartz Compositions are pretty powerful. So I would encourage you guys to check those out. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about is the new Resources tab. And what they have in here is Song Select and their web store. Now, Song Select lets you hook up to CCLI and find songs on their website. Now, what this actually is a mini web browser inside ProPresenter. And so it takes you directly to Song Select. You can log in and get your songs there. The cool one that they just added, and this is the first to any presentation software that I know of, they have a built-in store inside of ProPresenter for you to buy media. And this store is powered by Worship House Media. They've linked up, and you can go in here and actually buy media, and it automatically adds it to a folder, and you can access it and buy media on the fly right inside ProPresenter. So it's really exciting that they've added this in here. They've altered the Worship House Media site a little bit to make it for the Renewed Vision. You can see that some of the ads are removed, and most of it is branded as the Renewed Vision store and not just Worship House Media store. So that's a really cool feature that you guys could check out. So make sure you guys check out ProPresenter. You can download a trial of ProPresenter that has a watermark over it that lasts forever. So if you have ProPresenter, you can go try it out and you can test it for a year or 2 years. You can get every single update, and all you have to do is unlock it by paying for it, and that watermark will go away. But until then, there's a watermark on the output, but not on this screen. So I would encourage you guys to check that out. If there's anything that I missed in here as far as doing any of the things that you're wondering if ProPresenter does, make sure you email me, Brad at ChurchMediaDesign.tv, and I would love to answer those questions in the future. Well, because of the ginormous truck that was outside, we had to stop taping for a minute because there's crazy lights flashing all over the place. But anyway, I wanted to finish up with a final thoughts on how ProPresenter compares to MediaShout, in my opinion. Now, I used extensively MediaShout 2.5 and I used MediaShout 3 a bit. I actually chose to not upgrade to MediaShout 3 or 3.5 because their features and their feature list got worse than MediaShout 2.5. Now, this was from my take in my computer. I actually ran this on my desktop computer, which was a dual core at the time. I even ran it on my computer when I switched to a quad core, and it still had problems of lagginess in video and text not looking nice and a lot of those problems. MediaShout 2.5 ran perfectly for me, and we would still most likely be using it if our computer wouldn't have died. So the biggest difference is MediaShout 3 took the approach of, we're going to give you everything. We're going to give you the web browser. We're going to give you the whole 9 yards. We're going to give you flash video. We're going to give you video playback. We're going to give you live video, DVD playback, all these different things. We're going to, throw in all these weird music things and all this different stuff. And it's really great. And the other ProPresenter, on the other hand, took the side of, we're only going to give you the features that work well and work really well. So what happened with MediaShout is they actually started throwing in features that really shouldn't be in production. They shouldn't be in your church. They shouldn't be a part of the software. They weren't written well. They run slow. They run buggy. They got lots of issues, and they pushed it out of the door too fast because they've put out a release date that they couldn't meet, and then everybody said, hey, I've already prepaid for my software. I would like it now. How come it's been another year since you said I was going to get it? And they kept running into all these problems. They actually were going to put out a Mac version of MediaShout. It never happened because they ran into so many problems with that. And so what happened is you get software that's full of junk code that starts running slowly and running poorly. Goodbye, semi-truck. So a lot of their features work okay, but what happens is over time they start putting on new code on old code that wasn't that great, and all now you have is some good features and a whole bunch of features that don't work great. And the way ProPresenter has worked is they said, we're going to give you the stuff that works right. We're going to only put in things that work well. So we're going to make sure our video playback is amazing. We're going to make sure the text looks nice. We're going to make sure all of these simple things are done well. And when that's done, now we'll look at a new feature. And when that's done, now we'll look at the next feature. And that's the approach they've taken. And that approach has turned out an amazing piece of software. Now, a lot of churches, MediaShout is going to be the answer for you guys. It still works better than a lot of the other programs from what I hear, but I haven't used them, so I can't say for sure. But in the end, the biggest problem with MediaShout is the fact that their feature list is full of a bunch of garbage features that really don't work very well. Now, ProPresenter has its issues. ProPresenter's live video playback is pretty laggy. They have a lot of global settings that you can't do enough customization to them. Some of the features are kind of hidden behind things and they're harder to get to than they should be. And they're working on some of that stuff, as well as like a lot of people are using, at least I would think a lot of people are using this MacBook Pro here, which only has a 1440 by 900 screen, and it's not enough space a lot of times. You run into problems where this just really isn't enough space. And sometimes I wish I could have a bigger preview of what's actually up on the screen, because what if I can't see the screen from where I'm at? And that's the only preview I have of what's up on the screen. You run into weird things like that I wish you could change a little bit. So the other big problem is ProPresenter doesn't allow you to bring in PowerPoint or Keynote presentations. You actually have to run another piece of software, close down ProPresenter, launch that software, and switch back and forth. It's pretty seamless, but it would be a whole lot nicer if you could add in those presentations inside. That's where MediaShout has a one-up on ProPresenter, that you can run PowerPoint right from inside via the PowerPoint viewer. So those are a few things that I see as big differences. If you guys disagree with me, and I don't mean to sound so harsh about MediaShout, but this is what I've seen from hands-on use of both pieces of software and out of the box why ProPresenter is really running a lot better for me. And I honestly don't think it's just because of the hardware of the Mac or the hardware of the PC. A lot of it has to do with how it was coded and who was coding it. So, check out ProPresenter. It's a great piece of software. If you can't, if you're not on a Mac, I would encourage you guys to check out MediaShout, Easy Worship, or SongShow Plus, or Sunday Plus is the other one. So check out those different pieces of software. See which one works well for you. I know Easy Worship has got some things that they're working on in a new version that'll come out sometime in the future, but I have no idea when. So, hopefully that helped you guys make a little bit better decision about if you should or should not move forward with ProPresenter or MediaShout. So if you got any more questions, make sure to email me, Brad@ChurchMediaDesign.tv. If not, let's get some inspiration. Well, this week's inspiration comes in form of, well, it's a show that I've watched for a while, but it's in a whole new light. And the show is Dig Nation. It's hosted by Alex Albrecht and Kevin Rose. And they talk about the top stories from dig.com, which is a social news website. Now, this show, take it or leave it. They drink beer and sometimes get a little crazy and whatever. They provide some good news. But one thing they did on one of their latest episodes, they hooked up with Revision 3, their parent company's CDN, which is Content Distribution Network, called BitGravity is their name, and they did multi-view of their episode. And what they did is they taped 5 different camera angles and streamed them all up at the exact same time. So what you're looking at right here is Dig Nation multi-view remix. And so what I can do is I have my live view here. This is my program view, and I'm actually the editor right now. So I can click and I can custom go to any feed I want, and it pretty much is seamless. There's not much of a difference when I'm cutting to any of these different angles. You'll see a little bit of lag maybe in the midst of it, but I don't have the greatest internet connection here, so it's pretty amazing what you're seeing there. And they're actually streaming those all up at the same time. They're previewing all of those things, and it's all done through this multi-view technology from BitGravity. Now, the interesting thing, I saw this and I thought, wow, that's pretty amazing. But over at Church Crunch, they talked about how they saw the future of the internet campus video experience. And they talked about what would it look like for a church like LifeChurch.tv or Northland or Crossroads or Flamingo Road down in Florida, any of these churches that are doing internet video. What would it look like if they would implement this into their gathering? And the interesting thing is, when I was at Northland down in Florida, they actually talked about doing something along this line, where you could choose and say, I want to watch just the lyric feed. All I want to see is the lyrics all the time, so that when we're singing songs, all I see on my screen is the lyrics and I hear the audio. And then other people could say, well, I just want to see the feed that everyone sees inside the service. Or, hey, I want to see a wide shot of the gathering happening, but I don't want to see any cutting of camera angles. I just want to see this overall kind of God's eye view of what's going on in this church gathering and service. So it's pretty crazy to think about what that would look like in your church. So again, a lot of these inspiration posts, I'm trying to help you guys think outside of the box and how you can use current technology to do pretty amazing things. So make sure you head over to revision3.com/remix and at least check out this episode. They talk about Tyson chicken and weird stuff like that, but just check out this multi-camera switching. It's pretty amazing what they're doing here. And you can check out Hippie Glenn right here, watching the camera, and David Prager and random people over here with Macs, because everyone there has a Mac. But there's a little inspiration for you of the future of internet video, as well as make sure to check out churchcrunch.com for all latest news that's related to tech and church in the industry. Well, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, or it's getting close to Christmas, so I want to continue to give you guys good winter and Christmas loops. So we got this free background loop for you guys this week, and hopefully it will be a great addition to your arsenal. Check it out, download it, as well as don't forget about worshiphousemedia.com's downloads, 20 Days of Christmas. Go over to their website and get their free download, but make sure first you go to ChurchMediaDesign.tv, scroll down in our show notes, and you'll find the free download in widescreen HD or full screen 800 by 600 church definition. So make sure you get this free download, add it to your arsenal, and winterfy your gatherings and services. Well, we wanted to say thank you to our sponsors, and our first sponsor is CollideMagazine.com, where media and church converge. You can head over to their website and check out a lot of great articles and their blog, which is updated daily, and they have some great YouTube Friday videos of the week type stuff, as well as you can click on subscribe and fill out all of your information, and you can get a free trial issue of Collide Magazine. So you can get the latest issue, Pixelated Preaching, or if a newer issue is out when you go to the website, you can get whichever one is there currently. But make sure to check that out. Get your free edition, because what's better than free? Make sure to check out The Collide Show, which is a bi-weekly podcast that coincides with Collide Magazine, starring Scott and Daniel, and they talk about all sorts of different stuff, and they also have some great interviews with people like Cameron Ware and Barton Dahmer and a lot of different people. So make sure to check that out. Our other sponsor that I really want to make sure you guys know about is danzinkandtoner.com. You can head over to danzinkandtoner.com and check out the wholesale program, where you can get wholesale ink and toner for probably a way better deal than you're getting right now, because most of you guys are buying ink and toner from big box stores, which isn't really a good idea, because you're paying way more than you need to, and you're getting a lot crappier product, just to be honest, than what you could be getting. Because, like I said the other in past episodes, that when I've talked about this, we just got a new cartridge for this HP printer sitting next to me, and it's a higher volume of print, so we get more prints out of it, and it was more than half off the original cost that we've been paying at other places. So make sure to check out the wholesale program. Also, with the wholesale program, Dan is hooked up with biggestbook.com, where you can get office supplies and furniture and get your printer and get all sorts of different things, projectors, the whole 9 yards, all at wholesale prices. So if you sign up for the wholesale program, you can use the promo code of Church Media Design, and you'll get a 3-month risk-free trial. So you'll get ink and toner at wholesale prices, and you get basically next day shipping, business next day shipping of that toner and all the different products, and you can test it out, see if it works for your church, and then you can sign up for a year subscription. And it would be such a great benefit to us here at the show if you guys would sign up for that program. So check out danzinkandtoner.com. Dan will get in touch with you after you sign up and talk you through, but you can find out more information by clicking on wholesale, checking out how much the annual fee is and how much you would be able to spend in your maximum sales, and find out all the details there. And you can also click here to sign up and enter your name, email, phone, and the promo code of ChurchMediaDesign.tv, and you'll be good to go to sign up for the wholesale program. So check out danzinkandtoner.com and collidemagazine.com. Well, thanks for tuning in to another edition of Church Media Design TV. If this is your first episode or your second or third, I really want to thank you for watching and welcome you to the audience and the family of Church Media Design. We're here to help you out. We're here to help you in your local church to get done what you need to get done, so that you can help glorify the Lord and that you can help expand His kingdom. And I know that a lot of times we get stuck in this rut of worrying about what we're doing, and sometimes we forget about the real purpose of why we're doing it. So I just want to make sure that we remember why we're doing this, and especially in this season, more than any, let's not get caught up in the consumerism, and let's remember why we're doing what we're doing. So I just want to encourage you guys with that, as well as I want to encourage you guys to stay in touch with us. You can email me, Brad at ChurchMediaDesign.tv, become my friend on Facebook, or hit me and Adam up on Twitter, CMD.tv or Adam CMD.tv. So you guys can check us out there. And there are some new things coming in the future. So if you're friends on Twitter, you're going to find out about that first. Or if you're watching my Facebook feed, because it pushes everything to Facebook. So make sure you guys are following up if you want to find out about some behind the scenes things that are coming for the future. I know it's getting close to Christmas right now, so make sure you guys are getting all your Christmas stuff done. If you got any last minute questions, make sure to send those in so we can help you guys out. And lastly, I just want to encourage you guys to go vote for Mogulus. Go vote for Mashable. Getting all my M words screwed up. Mashable Web Awards, I'm praying right now. I don't know for sure, but I'm hoping that we made it into the next round of voting. And if we are, head over to ChurchMediaDesign.tv/Mashable and vote for Church Media Design. Make sure we win that award because it'd be great. And I'm not sure if it happened or not, or if the results have come out, but maybe we won the Collide Viewers' Choice Award. Maybe we didn't. I don't know right now, but maybe Adam does because he's a magician, a very crazy magician. Woohoo! So make sure you guys check that out. So as for me and the three wise men and Jesus, we're saying, tell a friend about the show and see you later. This is Angry Brad. And also, Mondo, drink some Mondo, drink some Mondo. Everyone drink Mondo. Come on, time the show, here it is, boom, ba.